Hey, it's Bumbleberry. So, we're gonna start this new episode after our little dream adventure. Hopefully, nothing crazy happens.
I opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m.? Why am I up so early? Something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. That's like every day at 7 a.m. I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do? Brush your teeth. I can make some coffee. Let's explore. Let's wander. I never really explored it much as a child, so there were bound to be new surprises. Come on, feet, let's go on an adventure. I hope they were still asleep. I began to wander the rooms, opening each door to find out where they led to. I found an old office. A desk and chair sat by the far side as a large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia were there. There were a couple pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelf. I don't believe I've been in here before. I tried to recall memories of ever seeing this room, coming up with nothing. This room was new to me. Do I want to disturb the furniture? I'm curious. In some of the drawers were books, even sewing kits. I assumed they were for use of my grandfather's toys, so I left them alone. One drawer, however, was locked, no matter how many times I pulled. Come on, open! Wouldn't budge. The drawer beside it did, though, revealing a laptop. Who keeps a laptop in a drawer? Yeah, exactly. Why is there a laptop in a drawer? I lifted it from the drawer and carried it over to the desk and chair, opening it. It was a high-tech laptop with a retina scanner as a pass lock. I was not sure whether or not to try and unlock it. Maybe it's for me, you know? I lined the retina camera. Please don't blind me. Lining the camera with my eye. To my surprise, I heard a ping. Oh, come from the computer before the screen opened to a desktop. Look at that. I'm magical. Taxes, profits, bylaws, products. The list went on and on. If I really did want to become the CEO of the Anderson Toys Company, I had everything about it at my fingertips. Dad would sure be impressed. One icon, however, stood out from the rest. Vorego? Nothing came up. Instead, I heard a large click come from the drawer that was locked. Open it. Revealing two books. One was a plain black journal with a tie to keep it closed. The other was bound in leather with cryptic symbols all over the cover. Show it to the boys. Don't open it. Show it to the boys. Seeing my grandfather's notes. They were all detailed explanations and opinions on his findings on demon magic. What? He really did know about magic. Finding drawings and sketchings of symbols and magic circles, each with their own different meanings and effects. It was all fascinating. There's even a page on important spells to know. I read through them, trying to memorize them into my mind. Well, that's going to help later. I don't know what came over me, but I started to feel more energetic and more powerful simply by reading my grandfather's notes. I was suddenly aware of the energy that surrounded my body and the power that was around me. The more powerful I became. Can you imagine if I did homework instead of this? However, my mind suddenly froze and I found myself walking back to the drawer and closing the drawer. The lock reset and I snapped out of it. Was she like possessed? I tried to reopen it but suddenly felt the need to stop. Something held me back and didn't want me to pry any more than I already had. I was curious beyond belief, but I obeyed my thoughts for now. Eventually I would come back and look into it. For like a true ending or something. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under my covers to try to rest sleeping again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday morning. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I'd slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went out to the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? Hey, the boys are outside, I bet. Hacha! And a hi-ya! And then a kicker, sir. And they're practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other four surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Should I interrupt them? Hey! Ah! All at once, the boys looked at me, frozen in their movements. I just stood at the doorway, staring at them after my outburst. James was the first to break away from the group, stepping towards me. I'm sorry if I wasn't supposed to do that, but it was so fun.
Good morning. We apologize if we woke you up.
It's like noon. Really? And she's like, I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's quite all right. We needed to stop anyway. We don't want to overwork Sam.
Oh,
come on. I can handle more than those pity punches.
Your mind seems grateful that we've stopped.
Shut up, Damien.
Perfect.
Oh, crap. We should probably make some lunch. I'm sure you're starving.
I can handle lunch if you like. Y'all seem very busy training to beat Malix. I'll take care of it today.
Whoa, seriously?
Mm-hmm. Why not? If I'm not useless, I know how to cook and do other stuff, too.
Well, no, I wasn't insinuating.
Liar.
What he means to say is that we'd be really grateful if you could make lunch today.
Mm-hmm. No problem. The boys went back to training. They seem very determined to get better and become stronger. Hooah! Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I've cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make... I'm going to make chicken and rice because then they have their protein. And sandwiches for demons does not seem like a good idea. There you go. Got to keep their energy and strength up with protein. Oh, perfect chicken breast along with some rice. Cooking wasn't hard unless you didn't know what you were doing in the first place. That's something similar to what my boyfriend says. None of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dishes out. I carried the dish out to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could get out today with the boys focused on training. I'm going to go find one of the incubi. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. Erik! Luckily, my feeling was right. Erik was beside the gazebo looking at a small flower that was growing on the railing of it. As I approached, Erik turned his head and smiled his usual smile.
Hello, princess.
So this means he is, like, the one that I'm closest to. All right, we're going to go for Erik. Hey, Erik, I got some lunch for you.
Really? You did not have to do that, princess.
No, it's fine. Here. Erik smiled and took his food, eating a little bit before looking to the flower again. Out of curiosity, I looked as well. It was a simple white daisy in full bloom. Erik shook his head and chuckled softly as I joined him in the flower gazing.
Sorry, I was simply reminded of home.
Oh, no, you're fine. What about home were you reminded of? Sorry. Erik looked to the sky with a soft sigh and smile before looking to the flower again.
The castle, mainly. Despite us not being there anymore, it was still our home. We grew up there our entire lives as brothers. There wasn't a day that went by when we weren't all doing something exciting. It was an empty excitement, of course, but it was still something that bonded us all together.
Erik slightly trailed off, looking lost in the nostalgia of his thoughts. I didn't know if I wanted to bother him while he remembered something so obviously important to him. Please tell me more. Oh, I got the heart pulse, so that means good things. Erik turned to me again with a surprised look. You know, I haven't seen a lot of my choices affect the heart thing very much, though.
You wish to know more?
Mm-hmm. Why not? I'm really curious about the place you lived in. Erik nodded before looking at the flower again. After a second, he gained a look of realization before looking at me again.
Would you like me to show you something instead?
Sure, I nodded. What I was expecting could not prepare me for what I saw. Were you expecting something PG-16? Erik gently brushed his fingers against the petals of the daisy, making it gently quake at his touch. As the daisy abnormally shivered, its petals shifted from white to purple. The yellow center gently faded to a pink hue as the stem began to burn black. I could only stare as Erik plucked the flower from its place and presented it to me.
Watch closely.
I kept my eyes to the flower as Erik began to mutter something. It sounded close to Latin, but I wasn't sure. Regardless, the flower began to glow in Erik's hand. Small, crystal-like spores floated up from the pink center and began to form a circle in the air. As the circle closed, the center filled with smoke, forming a screen of some sort. It was misty, so I couldn't see anything. What is this?
Just watch.
I raised an eyebrow, but I followed his instruction. Eventually, the mist faded away, revealing a large throne room. It was of all stone and tile, with the throne itself covered in red fabric and gold metal. Oh, nice. And this is the throne room.
That's our castle. It's a wonderful place. Servants and parties galore.
Does your father sit on the throne when he's at the parties?
Very much so. He despises dancing and socializing, so he makes the throne his home.
Do you think he's still there now? I must have struck a small chord with Erik, because he hesitated before responding. Erik smiled only slightly.
We don't know. When we left, we didn't look back. However, we are sure he's still there, since no one followed us out of the abyssal plains.
I bit my lip. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. I felt really bad. However, I didn't feel it for long. The magic suddenly stopped and faded away. That was weird, I'm sorry. Faded away while Erik dropped the daisy. As the daisy turned back to its white and yellow color, Erik dropped to a knee, groaning in pain. Erik, are you all right? Like, seriously, are you all right?
Yes, Princess. I'm fine. I just used too much energy, that's all.
I dropped to a knee and tried to examine Erik closer. His face was pale while his purplish eyes shifted back and forth between purple and gold. His breath was heavy, which concerned me. He used too much energy? That meant he needed more.
Please don't worry, Princess. I'm fine. Don't worry your beautiful head about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to kiss him. Yay! Because he needs energy, and succubi live off of sexual energy. Nom. Hopefully it's okay. Since you did it before to me, I will kiss you, and you will get your energy back. Okay? Ready? Mwah. I felt responsible. I had to help. I quickly grabbed Erik's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Ooh, shifting myself closer, I brought my lips to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got his energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. However, Erik grabbed my shoulders and forced me back. I opened my eyes and stared into his frightened golden eyes in surprise. At the same time, I noticed a pink hue run across Erik's face. I'm so sorry if it wasn't okay, Erik.
Princess? What are you doing?
I don't know why, but I felt both irritated and accomplished at the question and the look he was giving me. Where was his flirting? Where was his cocky smirk? From what I remembered, he took advantage of me when we met, and yet now he was somehow acting inferior to me. I grabbed his hands and removed them from my shoulders, tangling my fingers with his. I'm trying to help and give you some of my energy. You used your energy to show me that sight, so I wanted to pay you back for that. Unless you don't want me to help.
Well, I've already taken your energy once before.
Yes, that was before. I want to give you energy now. Just let me. I can't even say it with a straight face. Oh gosh. Okay, all of a sudden I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Erik quickly released my hands and wrapped them around my waist, dropping to both knees in front of me. He stared at me with desire in his gaze as he pulled my body to his. Erik leaned his forehead to mine, letting the tips of our noses gently caress each other as he spoke.
You spoiled me.
Oh! Okay. I guess that's okay. We're like on the ground. That's hot. Oh my gosh. Before I knew it, I was on top of Erik as he laid on the grass below. I stared wide-eyed as he pulled me into a hot and passionate kiss with a gentle hand on at the pull of my back. Erik's other hand rested on the small of my back while I rested my hands on his chest. I've moved myself to straddle his hips to be comfortable in the kiss. The energy from my body was slowly draining, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. When Erik held me, he gently rolled us both over so he was on top of me, kissing me hotly and holding me tightly. I was tempted to wrap my legs around him, but I remained focused on the kiss. It was better that I was the one on bottom anyway, with my energy slowly fading from my body. However, the draining feeling suddenly stopped as Erik pulled away and looked down at me. I stared up at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Erik, however, didn't move from me, but moved a strand of hair from my face, eyes still full of desire.
I'm completely full, and yet I still desire you.
Naturally, 'cause I'm fabulous. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away. but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time I wasn't even sure if I truly did want to give any more. I'm gonna keep going. Let's do this. I want to see an optional sex scene. I'll cover it if it's like not appropriate for YouTube or whatever. But warning, I am going ahead. I'll probably leave an annotation to skip beyond it if you don't want to see the sexy time scene, okay? Alright. Ooh, I had a moment. I opened the opportunity and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I reached up, pulled him down, and kissed him, giving him silent approval to keep going. Okay, I get it. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand from off around my neck. He moved the ribbon to the ground beside me before gently unbuttoning the top buttons of my blouse, stopping at the buttons above my stomach. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran kisses from my lips to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back in the grass and let pleasureful sigh escape my lips. Erik was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Erik didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps rush out of my mouth and into the open air. He was full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down to my chest just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Erik intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was way too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the sky start to spin almost wildly. I gripped onto Erik's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain in my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing had happened between me and Erik. I was just missing my ribbon. He took a souvenir. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon. Oh, he left it for me. It was tied in a nice bow around the daisy Erik had picked with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
You've spoiled me, my princess. I am eternally grateful that you let me indulge like that. Have a good rest.
Oh my gosh. I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. Spoiled him. I enjoyed it despite the first-time circumstance. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the daisy to my nose and gently inhaled its soft fragrance, letting the memories of our meeting flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Erik. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes! 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still feel tired. It was a Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by, strangely uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still, they felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep, and after the previous rough nights I'd had, I felt good. I woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep? I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. What? I must be lucky today. We were lucky yesterday. Karma owed me some luck. After all, I had gone through in merely a handful of days. I deserved some good luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone quickly started to buzz from an incoming text. Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
Yay! Friendship. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet and didn't want to have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. I checked the time. 6:30. Perfect! I can eat some breakfast before they come. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate with eggs, toast, and bacon sitting on the table. A fresh steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with sugar and creamer on one side. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Have a good day. Yours. Oh my gosh, it's Erik. It was Erik. He made me breakfast. I like how they scripted it though, so that it could have been any of them. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still need to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? Erik! I turned to see Erik. He looked sad. He was holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Erik, miss. I want you to know my real name, if something were to happen.
His true name? What did he mean? What was he telling me this now? I remembered reading about a demon's name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you, no matter where you were, where they were. He wants to be my boyfriend. Alright, he gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Uzeiris.
Uzeiris. It didn't work, you guys. He didn't appear. As he said his name, I could feel it locked into my memory. Something in my head made sure I would never forget it. Erik pulled away and smiled at me, despite carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
I stared up at Erik, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Erik smiled before kissing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. Alright, 1 second, I'm going to save. Thank you, Erik. I'll be sure to give you a call sometime.
So I'm going to leave that here for now. Well, we definitely got a lot of action this episode. I'm actually going to switch it over to focus on Erik for this episode, just so you guys know that this is the episode where the sexy time with him started happening. I'm going to switch back to my regular kind of thumbnail, but let me know what you think. Is it too sassy for you to handle? Next time we're going to go to school, see if we can beat some more people up, you know, the usual. Let's see if we can use his name. Let's practice it together. And a 1, and a 2, and see you later.